elected official, doesn't matter if you're on the left or if you're on the right, your elected official doesn't give a rat's butt about you. They don't care about you.
They're going to sleep just
They're
fine.
sleeping
They
just
don't know your
fine.
name.
They're making millions of dollars that you don't get to make. They don't care about you. All they want is they're going to do just enough to get you to reelect them.
Yeah, and look, the right has its problems too.
Oh,
like,
100%.
You know, like I don't want it to be like, look, this type of criticism is just a pure shotgun blast. It applies everywhere, it seems. But the right has the same issue. You know, there's people that are hardcore, like Christian nationalists, and like
The worst.
it is unbelievable. The fanboy,
Giving Christians a bad name.
yeah, it's well, you know, Christ is co-opted on both sides. You know, you know, he was a refugee in Egypt. Like, no, he wasn't. Like, he didn't. It was all owned by the same governance. So, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, so people use that,
It's
and
all
then
Roman Empire.
yeah, and then
It all belonged to the Romans.
yeah, and then you have all
know
this.
your history, people.
It's but it's lazy. It's intellectual laziness. Oh, I see you have your 1984 copy up there. I just happened to look over your head. I saw it staring at me.
Got one in there.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That's the graphic novel.
Oh, nice. Is it pop up or is it just?
No, it's just comic book style.
Ooh, a
Graphic
pop-up
novel.
book would be really good
yeah.
on Orwell.
You figure out what you would construct to pop up.
Well, you know, and right there with Orwell, you know, go and read some Animal Farm too while you're at it. You know, you want
Yeah, he's got that.
to you want to have some fun with that. Read those two back to back, and then go watch Lord of the Flies. Man, you're gonna start eating ring dings and ho hos all the time, and just eat and drink yourself into oblivion. I guess, you know, the people that just blindly follow these ideologies, and you know, if you want to be attached to that, that's fine. No, it's not fine. You're an idiot. You need to
Yep.
quit allowing yourself to be twisted and manipulated by other individuals. You have free will. You have free thought, and you know, I'm not sitting here saying that, you know, the way I do things is any better than anybody else, but I tell you, I don't stress out about these things.
No.
And I'll be the first one to say, and I've said it a couple of times to a couple of people in private, the way things are being done right now with ICE is not appropriate use of that device. I think that there's other things that could have been done. You could have made announcements and said, "Hey, if you've been here this long, then come see us. We'll process you, whatever. If you don't take this opportunity,
But I think we did. We did.
Well-
We've given people the ability to self-deport. We're willing
did.
to give them. There was a lady that was just apprehended. It's funny. I get all my news from X at this point, all of it, and even the news that I get, I wait, and I don't. So I react. I react by hearting it, or I don't. So there's my engagement with it, but even how I feel about things, you know, I will process it for a little bit. You know, Bible says in the book of James, you know, be slow to speak. You know, not because it's easy to be angry and be reactionary with things and to become incensed by them when you don't know the context, you don't know what's fully transpired. So, you know, slow to speak, slow to wrath, but quick to listen. And the best we can do is just wait a second. So you see something crazy, like, okay, before I know what happens, let's watch a little more come in. And sometimes it takes a day or two for you to really have a viable understanding, a working knowledge of what just transpired. But meanwhile, everyone else has already run down the way.
Yeah, well,
They've
it's
said
if
things
it
that
leads,
can't.
If it bleeds, it leads thing.
Yeah.
And because the more you're watching or clicking on something, the more ad revenue is coming into that
Sure.
to that media company.
Sure.
They don't really care if
But
it causes problems.
But the way that they frame things at a turn of a hair, like you had, like I said, this lady, unfortunate, Renee Good, you know, died the way that she did. And as unfortunate as that is, the minute that happened, ICE murdered somebody. These guys are murderers. Like, really? And to put it into further context, in terms of this guy's reaction, he had been dragged by a vehicle some 6 months before trying to apprehend this like pedophile. Okay, so we want to defend pedophiles now too, apparently. So long as they're not American, as long as they're foreign, we'll stand in front of any ICE agent to prevent them from doing their job. But this guy was dragged something like, 100 yards.
100 yards.
100
Yeah.
yards, had sustained terrible injuries, and it also just came out that he had, from this Miss Good, hitting him with her car, sustained, internal bleeding or something in his torso.
Which, of
Which
course,
people are
half
like,
the country are like, yeah, that's not true.
Everybody's
Oh, he got a bruise.
everybody's like, well, he didn't hit her. Like, how many freaking angles do you want before, like, we have a far angle at like 100 feet of him getting hit, plus his own personal cam, it was his phone, it wasn't even a body cam. He gets hit and everyone's like upset because he calls her a bitch or whatever. Like, look, I
Heat of the
love
moment.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Somebody hits me with their car. Unfortunately,
I'm not going to thank him for it.
you squeeze
Yeah.
you squeeze the orange, you're gonna get some juice. Okay, it is
good
what it
way.
is.
That's a good way of putting it, Rob.
Sometimes
That's really good.
Sometimes the juice isn't always good. Sometimes it's gonna be bitter. It ain't always gonna be sweet. So,
Yeah.
I don't fault him for that. But
Well, the whole system's jacked up. I mean, I've seen, and I've dealt with this in the past with students whose parents were working towards citizenship. It should not take someone that's trying to do it the right way, other than coming in the country illegally. But they come here, they get their taxpayer identification number, then they start the process immediately to get citizenship. It shouldn't take 8 to 10 years.
well, yeah, you have people.
That's flawed.
Yeah,
that's
there's-
messed up, and it shouldn't
Sure.
cost them $12,000 to $16,000
Yeah.
at all.
Agreed. Especially when people have made some good contributions, but at the same time, it's like, look, you're here. Why did you basically just skate under all of our institutions and everything without ever fully making this place your home, like becoming a citizen, like
Come into a port of entry, but again, and I'm speaking from experience. The schools that I've worked at, the populations that I serve, I have actually talked to adults who were in states in Mexico where they did go to the consulate's office and they did express a desire to come to the U.S. because they were fearful of the cartels, and they were told it was a 10-year wait, and then we're told that if you give us this amount of money, we can expedite you in
Sure,
the next
of
2 to 5
course.
years.
Of
That's
course.
wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong.
That is wrong.
Well, in terms of the
It-
cartels, I think we should just start playing Fortunate Son out there and send out the Freedom Dorito. Like
Didn't they have one hovering over Mexico last
I
week?
don't remember. Yeah, there was a video.
Or was
of
that
it.
AI? I don't know if it was AI or not.
Yeah, it was probably AI. Just something to wet your whistle.
Yeah.
Something to wet your incense whistle there to get you going. But
Well,
yeah,
and the cartel guys, man, they're well organized. They make the old school Italian mafia look like daycare centers, man. The cartel guys, man.
yeah,
they're-
but they don't want none of this smoke.
no, they don't.
I
wouldn't
mean,
think they
seriously,
want
They
there-
don't,
there's
they don't
guys
have
that
the
are-
Freedom Dorito.
The Freedom Dorito. Somebody posted a meme. It made me laugh. It said, Americans are the only ones that can look at that thing and cheer and be like, yeah, that's cool. Because if you see that in your country, it's the last thing you see.
I don't think I've seen this.
The Freedom Dorito does not.
I'll get it
Yeah.
for you.
The meme though was great. It's like we're the only ones. Americans are the only ones that are privileged to see that and have a sense of pride and
It's
like
the,
be like it's
the
cool.
B2 stealth bomber,
Yeah.
of course.
The Freedom Dorito. It's basically just that's what
That's-
unfortunately the
Does it have its own page?
That's awesome. That's awesome. 111 people are following it.
well, Matt Von Swole just posted on it, so yeah.
I probably hurt your ego. So let me get.
That's great. Well, yeah, it doesn't look like they're. If it is the Freedom Dorito, it should be It should be nothing but
That's
B2 bomber.
it's a B2 bomber.
yeah.
Well,
I'll-
that makes
I'll
sense.
find
It
it.
does look like a Dorito.
I'll find you one. It's easier for me to find it on my phone.
Well, and what I don't know if how accurate this was, because I do know that Venezuelans and Cubans here in this country were extremely excited about Maduro being
Oh,
taken
yeah.
out. But I think there was they interviewed one of his security guys. And it's like, man, it happened so fast. We didn't even know. We
Yeah.
didn't have time to react.
Yeah.
They it was like a handful of them and hundreds of us, and they wiped us out.
Yeah. Yeah. No joke.
I don't think, and again, people in this country, you have a lot of y'all have no idea how our special forces, how well they are trained.
Oh, yeah. No, I think we're
and
we're
how
the-
good at what they are at what they do.
there's almost next to no one who could have done what we did, and
No, there's no one.
This is just what we do.
Maybe the Royal Marines.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at the dog. I've seen those looks before.
Yeah, see these.
I do.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
The freedom
The Freedom Dorito.